Hey everyone, Rick here, and folks, it is time for another Unpunching Board Games Live. I know, that sounds like the most fun thing in the entire world. Just got back with my Dunkin' Iced, and I picked up a few new games from my friendly local game store the other day. Now, these days, I'll say this, let me say this, and of course, I'm totally unprepared. Hopefully, you can hear me okay. And if the music or whatever ends up being too loud, just let me know. So I just celebrated my 1000th board game in my collection. Now, 1000, I surpassed actually quite a bit. Thank you so much for letting me know. I appreciate that because, yeah, I'm still a noob at these live things, so I'm not always sure how it sounds, how it looks. Also, is this all backwards? Let me know that also. Does this look does the text look backwards to you? Because I have this camera on, mirrored mode or whatever. It's good. Oh, thank Christ. Awesome. Okay, so I was just talking about how I reached a milestone in my board game collection 1,000 board games. Now, I actually passed that a while ago, but I don't count duplicate copies. So, if I picked up 40 copies of Ogre Pocket Edition years ago when they had the deluxe edition Kickstarter. So I'm not including 40 copies of that in my catalog of games. I just count it as one game. So, but my 1000th individual game ended up being this Happy City. Can you believe it? I picked this up a few weeks ago and I absolutely love it. It calls itself a delightful building game, and I gotta say, that's exactly what it is. But that's not what we're here to discuss today. It is unpunching these games. My store, when I think about retirement plans, instead of retiring, maybe retiring from my current job, but my absolute dream would be to open a game shop. It really would. All right, let me just share this link on Facebook as well. And this will also make it easier for me to see comments in the chat. All right. But I just picked these three up, and the whole point of me saying that is to go into, now we're talking about, however many games this is in the collection. Any new games that I pick up now, I've got to really have a reason for. And so, back when I was first collecting games, anything that caught my interest, I would pick up. But these days, it's got to be something that I absolutely think is going to get played, something that I'm truly, truly interested in. Well, it's because of storage space. It's because I am running out of room. There is so little room here that I'm not even sure where these games are going to go once we get them unboxed and unpunched. I just don't have any more room. So I have to be a lot pickier now when it comes to games in the collection. Set that flag? What do you mean, which flag? Hold on, I just want to share this link before we get going. All right, so I'm saying I'm live. Come watch me unpunch new games. I mean, does that not sound like the most exciting thing you've ever heard? All right. Perfect. Oh, I see what you're saying. Set that. No, the goal of, how many's in the collection, that is infinite. I don't care how many games it ends up being. I just want because you know I fell into the trap of picking up games that just haven't been the absolute best, and they sit on my shelf after a single play. And but I'm a hoarder. I can't get rid of things. I can't cull my collection like a lot of people can. But anyway, so let's start unpunching these. And if there's cards, I'm going to try to sleeve them as well. Here are the games. We have Cascadia. We have Coatl. And we have Mandala Stones. Now, with so let me give a little backstory on this. So, as I was saying about the whole situation where I am a little pickier about, you know, which games I pick up these days. So, each of these games, I have now watched video reviews, playthroughs, you know, all sorts of stuff. I basically know how to play these games before I even get them at this point, and that's how I know that I'm probably going to really enjoy them. All right, so let's see, which one do we want to start out with? Let's start out with Mandala Stones, just because this one is maybe one of the lesser exciting component-wise. Now, I say that because there's not a whole lot of components. So let's take a look at the box first. Mandala Stones. It's going to be a bunch of these, albeit very nice quality, colorful, click-clacky tokens. The player boards and the scoreboard aren't the most exciting. I mean, even the box itself doesn't look the most exciting. This is definitely an abstract game. I guess you could call all three of these abstracts. These would all be something I would consider entry level, or at the very least next level, because they're super simple. All right, so here it is. Mandala Stones. Box is open. What do we got? First of all, we have the rule book. Fantastic. This is one of the thinnest rule books. Just a handful of pages, but has some colorful images. That's fantastic. Player turn, player setup. I also picked this one to unpunch first because I don't think this is going to take us about 2.5 seconds to unpunch this, because there's not a lot here. All right, so this is the big board. Look at that, one punch. We're already done with this one. Now this has two sides to it. Does that mean anything? I don't think so. Double-sided board. This is where you're going to stack all of the pieces as well as place the artist pawns, and this is where the crux of the game is going to be had, where you move the artist pawns around and pick up the pieces that surround it, and then boom, here we go. Now we have this. Now this was a 5-piece, not just this centerpiece. This is also double-sided. 2, 2, 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't see any difference on this side either. This is also double-sided. This is going to be how you figure out when the end game triggers, as well as give you some bonus points when you pass certain thresholds. But this punch-out sheet also has 450 plus tokens, which is handy because the score track only on each individual player's board, which are these, only goes up to 50. So if you go past 50, that's why we have these 50-point markers. All right, next we have these very thin. They're not punch out at all. Very thin, kind of card stock quality player boards, of which they're all the same. There's 4 of them. This game can play up to 4. When you pick up your pieces, you're going to put them in stacks on those bottom one of 5 circles, and you'll score them based on color. Now, there are a bunch of other pieces here. Of course, these had to be square, so it's going to be not impossible, but kind of interesting to try to sleeve these. Oh my gosh. I'm going to give sleeving them a shot, and we'll see. So these are end game bonus cards. So it'll give you a number of victory points at the end of the game, depending on certain endgame situations on your player board, as well as it looks like there are some player reference cards, which are always fantastic, always appreciated. Now, are these different on either side? Either A or B, plays a stone spiral. Okay, so yeah, they are. Yep, they are. There's a double side to, each side's different. And that'll give you the two different ways you can, what you do on your turn. You can, and it tells you exactly what you do. Pick stones from that big center display or score stones that you have on your display. So cool. I'm glad that it has that. Though, oh man, I will be honest, I wish it was like double height and about the size of a card, if not a tarot card, so that I could kind of sleeve that. But that's just me being super picky. But that's fine. I would have liked it all on one side so I don't have to keep flipping it over. But that, again, that's just me being picky. Otherwise, we have these wooden artist things. They look like they've been printed on the top with that symbol. This is like a swirly symbol. I don't even think you can see this right here, but here is that board. So these artist pawns will be on here. There will be stacks of what we're about to see in a second, and then you'll move these artist pick stones that surround them of a pattern that matches the artist that you decided to move, as long as they aren't adjacent to another artist. I know that probably doesn't make any sense, but I didn't want to go into a full-on rules overview, just kind of show off some of the components here, because I was like, well, I could either do this by myself or I could subject other people to it as well. Here's the other set of artists. These have stars on them. So it's like a star pattern, and I'll put one up next to each other so you can see the difference. So one is kind of a swirl and one's kind of more of a star pattern. You don't have to have the best eyesight to tell them apart, but it's just interesting that I wonder if there's a reason they went with the patterns that they did there. All right, so then, click clack. Look at these. Are these made out of that Bakelite material maybe? I don't know. These look more plasticky than Bakelite, but I could be wrong. And I like that there's like baggies for pretty much everything. There are these 4 scoring pawns. So you can put those on your score sheet and just move up as you do. So there's not a lot of components here, to be honest. And then here is a nice big old cloth bag. And that is where all of these will go. Look how many of these there are. There's a whole pile of these. And so a big old cloth bag to store them in. How are you? Good day. Good afternoon. Good evening. So this is from Board and Dice. It has a nice little insert here. What in the world do you put in here? Oh, these 50 plus tokens. Now these cardboard tokens are actually pretty thick. You see how kind of thick those are. So I assume those will go right on in here. And then these, where did I put the other things? Here they are. The endgame scoring condition cards. If I put them back in this plastic thing, will these still fit in this container? Yeah, it will. Let me see if I have sleeves. Look at this. You're not going to believe this. Oh my gosh, if these actually fit, I'm going to lose my mind. I heard the worst news of my entire life. Let's go on a field trip real fast. Am I going to regret this? Oh my gosh. Because here is my little cabinet where I hold on my sleeves. As you can see, my favorite kind of sleeves are the Fantasy Flight sleeves. And I have just been informed by staff at my friendly local game store that they are no longer going to be producing those Fantasy Flight sleeves. I'm like, are you kidding me? Let's see if these will fit. Oh, these might be a little too big. But so then I'm like, well, gosh, I love these Fantasy Flight sleeves because they're like the perfect thickness. The quality's fantastic. In a single pack, you really don't have, and you probably can't see this, any disparity. They are all the same size. And you think, well, of course, they all come from the same pack. They're probably all, manufactured. No, that's not the case. I was forced, because here's another new game that I just got. And I would have done an unboxing for this one too, the Red Cathedral. Oh, look how small this box is. And there is a full-on Euro game in that box. But the cards in there are normally the Fantasy Flight. Yes, Hal, that's what I heard. Game Centric took them over. Okay, so they are the same size, as long as they're the same quality. Are you familiar at all with Game Centric sleeves? And when are they going to start pumping those out? Are they already out? My friendly local game store didn't have any. Maybe they're just backed up like a lot of places are. But in the meantime, I was forced to use these board game sleeves. Folks, these aren't it. I'll tell you right now, these are not the ones. First of all, these are super flimsy. I don't know if you can be able to tell the difference. Here's a Fantasy Flight sleeve. Here is a board game sleeve. This one is so much thicker than this flimsy one. But not only that, they're different sizes. It's crazy. When you put them all stacked up, you won't be able to see this probably, maybe. But they're not even all the same size sleeve across. They're, fraction of a millimeter different between them. But oh my gosh, how freaking annoying. Okay, well that's good to hear that they're out already, but I'm gonna, because I do try to go to my friendly local game store first, and if they don't have it, that's when I move on to, online options. But I do try to stick with the friendly local game store first, but I didn't have any. They said it's tough to get them. Ronald McDonald, thank you for stopping by. I truly appreciate it. We're about to see if I have the right size of sleeves for these cards because they're square. Hold on. God, I don't have my mouse and it's impossible for me to use one of these touchpad things. Come on. Whatever. I shouldn't be bothering with that right now anyway. So anyways, here we go. Let's see if these will fit. I picked up a pack. No, I didn't pick up just a pack. I picked up an entire case of these Fantasy Flight clear square board game sleeves a long time ago. Can you guess what game I may have picked those up for? It's one of my top 10 games of all time. And if you guess Gizmos, you are correct. Now, I think I had to do a little bit of trimming on those sleeves because they weren't. Oh my gosh, these look about right. Oh, are you kidding me? These were made for this. Look at this. Look at this. Oh my gosh, that sleeve fits these cards like a glove. Are you kidding me? Now you may be saying, really, you got to sleeve those? Yes, I got to sleeve anything that a player touches. No, that's not true. Any kind of card component that a player touches, I have to sleeve because, especially if someone's snacking or if they are, a little fidgety and kind of scraping them. Seventh Continent. I have that, but I haven't sleeved it yet because I haven't even taken it out of the box. Maybe one of these days I'll finally get around to doing that. Oh, these sleeves. Look how perfect these sleeves are fitting these square cards. I knew that picking up an entire case of these was the right thing to do. Oh, but now that's good to know, you know, because I didn't even think about that. But yeah, you're right. Seventh Continent has these square cards that you play the game on. So yeah, absolutely. If these will fit those, which I think probably they will. Like I said, I haven't even unboxed it. And I backed the very first Seventh Continent Kickstarter, and I still haven't gotten around to unboxing it yet. All right, we're almost done with these sleeves. Oh, I am so happy that these sleeves worked because this was the only game so far that I had used these square sleeves on. Okay, so now the fantastic thing about sleeving these, and these are the end game goal cards, are now you can shuffle them so easily without bending them. You just do one of these, you know, mash shuffles, cut them in half, slip one side into the other, and oh my gosh, it's perfect. Oh, yes. Awesome. That's good to hear. Because hopefully, because I don't know, can't remember how many packs of these I used on Gizmos, but probably a lot. I don't know how many packs I have left. Oh, that's gonna be a pain. I actually must not have used a lot because I still have 8.5 packs of those. And there's 50 per pack. So what? Do the math on that, 400. But I know Seventh Continent has so many cards. I probably am going to need more than 400 sleeves. But anyway, look how nice. Now here's the thing. Will this insert still fit these cards now that they're sleeved? It will. Look at that. It's perfect. They fit in there perfectly. Now if you are, you know, obsessive like I am, this just absolutely tickles you, the fact that the sleeved cards fit in the insert. Not many games can say that. All right, so anyway, this was, I know I took a long time on this one. This was already over 22 minutes. But we have 2 more games to go, and games that have, one game that has more punch-out things than the other. But I'm really excited. Now let's see if we can pack this all up. Well, I really haven't shown off these yet. Yeah. These are as satisfying to play around with as I was kind of expecting. Different color. I don't know, is this Bakelite? Whatever that kind of plasticky material is. Fantastic. A friend of mine on my Facebook page said we could do a board game ASMR with Unpunching. And I mean, this would be fantastic for ASMR. Right? Does that not make ASMR? Not me shouting and screaming all the time. That's not good for ASMR, but the soft click-clack of like board game components, that would be good for ASMR. All right, anyway, so we're gonna put, and so there's 2 big baggies of these components. One has the swirl pattern on the tiles, the other has the stars. And I'll be honest, this was my on the fence game. This was the game that I was on the fence about picking up. Why? Because I was like, God, you know, I am a huge fan of themes like fantasy and, you know, sword and sorcery, miniature games, and then you show me one of these more abstract games, and I'm like, God, I just don't know. But I do. Even apart from my love of Euro games and apart from my love of dice chucking Ameritrash games, I do still love the occasional, simple, fast, abstract kind of game like this. So I ended up pulling the trigger. I like the idea of moving the pawns, collecting the stones, sticking them on piles, scoring the colors, and, you know, getting points based on the criteria, and this whole other way that the game ends as you score tokens and put them on this thing and, you know, cross different thresholds to get bonus points, and then it'll tell you it at the end of it. Once you cross this, that's the end of a 2-player game, end of a 3, end of a 4. And that was kind of a clever thing to do too. So I was like, all right, I can see that. These fit in here? No. All right, so what fits where? I think it's just this, these, and this. And that is it. Is this the front of the box? Nope. It goes like this. All right, so this is... Oh, we almost forgot about the cloth bag. Do I even need these plastic baggies then? Or can I just dump it all in here? Because, I mean, we're going to have to put them in here anyway. And we have to just make sure that those are mixed up really good. Since they were separated in the bags in the 2 patterns, we really got to make sure those are good. All right, boom. I think that's good. I think we can just leave it like that. And now we can put this back in here. And that was it. So that was Mandala Stones, the Unpunching. And there were only 6 components that needed to be unpunched. But we also got to sleeve some cards too. Hopefully we have the proper sleeves for the rest of the games as well. Only 2 punch sheets. That was a big difference, you know, from Praga Kaput Rainy that we just unpunched a week or 2 ago. So not a whole lot. Here's our pile of things so far. And I am going to keep, of course, all of these plastic baggies for other games. Who knows? Maybe some of these games we're about to unpunch are going to need those bags. But we do have some trash here and some sleeves that hopefully we won't ever have to use again. Okay. So next we are going to go with... Which one? Do we go with Randy Flynn's Cascadia or do we go with Coatl? Who designed Coatl? Pascali Brassard and Etienne Dubois-Roy. I probably slaughtered those names. Coatl or Cascadia? Cascadia is the new hotness in terms of relatively recently with people who love Calico. Are you a Calico fan? I am. Apparently, Cascadia is being described as a more relaxing Calico, which says a lot because Calico is stressful as hell. Though the playthroughs of Cascadia I've seen also make it look really stressful. Coatl, Z. Garcia of the Dice Tower gave that, I think, a 9 out of 10, which is why it has the Dice Tower Seal of Excellence. That's not just a seal of approval. No. That is a seal of excellence. And the playthroughs I've seen of it look like so much fun, especially if you like big, thick, chunky plastic components. So let's go with this one first. Here's the back of the box. Here is the front of the box. It has that kind of... What is it? Is it Aztec or is it Mayan? One of the two. Central American, Mesopotamia situation with these feathered snakes. We are going to be fulfilling the prophecies by putting these snakes together. So inside we have English and what language is this? French? I think it's French. English and French rule books. We have separate rules for the solo game in English and in French. So that's kind of nice that they have that separated out. I don't know, is that nice or could they have just made that a page in the rule book? All right, We have the board. This is already punched. We have literally nothing to punch in this game. Are you serious? Are you kidding me right now? So we actually don't have anything to punch because the one and only cardboard component in the game came pre-punched, if you can believe it. But that is okay. Despite the fact that it kind of makes me look like a liar when I titled this video, and I tried to title it the most exciting title you can give a video, which is Board Game Unpunching Live. Okay. These bags are so freaking cool. Oh my gosh. These are some awesome bags. Okay, no, I lied. Yes, there are components we have to punch. We have this single sheet of round sacrifice tokens that we have to punch. See? We are going to get to punch something. We have the 4-player storage boards in the 4 different player colors, yellow, green, blue, red. They are double-sided, but the sides look identical. So no differences there. Here are all of these different components. So what is there? 3 tails and 3 heads in the red. We have a whole bunch of body components, which is fantastic. Gerandas, thank you, because that's what I've been hearing, and that's what I've been seeing, that it's a great game. I mean, how could it not be? It's a game about collecting these pieces to put together these feathered snakes and score points based on objective cards for colors and patterns. I mean, that's just simplistic fun right there. Quick, easy, fast, and you get to play with these awesome components. Here is a first player marker, though if I remember right, unless someone was using something else, this is because I thought I saw a playthrough where someone had like a metal one of these, which would be cool. This was just a cardboard one. It already came pre-punched. Now here's the other thing, because I'm going to want to sleeve these. We're going to have to see if these, they look a little short for tarot size, but I have tarot sleeves, so we'll take a look at those in a second. Look at this insert. I love when the inserts look kind of cool, and they have the name of the game on there. But if it doesn't fit sleeved cards, it has to go, unfortunately. What do we think? There may be some room in there. These would definitely fit, doesn't matter for those. We'll take a closer look at these components in a second, but I want to grab some sleeves. Tarot sized and regular. And again, here we go from my Fantasy Flight stash that Hal confirmed Game Centric is going to be producing these sleeves going forward. So the last of my Fantasy Flights. All right, so anyway, let's punch, because that's what the title of the video is, right? We're going to punch these tokens out. So what are these tokens? These, I believe, are the tokens that will allow you to wipe the prophecy cards and also discard prophecy cards from your hand and then draw back up. So that'll be cool. Or I don't know if it actually lets you draw back up when you use that token, but because drawing prophecy cards is an action you can take. I'll have to double check the rules on that one. The perfect pick, it'll allow you to just grab either 2 body parts or a head or a tail of your specific color preference. And of course, there's one of these for each player, which is why there's 4 of each. And then there's, in addition to these prophecy cards, it'll score based on the colors and patterns in your feathered snake. There are also these for the entire completed snake. It has to either meet both of those requirements, or the top or the bottom, and it'll score points accordingly. You get one in your hand. There will be some out there that are public that anyone can get, but if you want one and you don't want anyone to take it, that's what this token's for. You can spend that token to, reserve that for yourself. All right, but anyway, back to these bags, which are awesome. I mean, these are full-on, really nice fabric-y bags, thick bags with the name and the body parts. So heads, tails, and body components. And you're probably like, what are you talking about in terms of these components? Well, these are plastic components. There are 3 heads, 3 tails, and a whole bunch of body parts of each color, and they are nice plastic, and they link together. And you can imagine, this is a head and a tail. Imagine a bunch of, links between the two of different colors. And that's where those cards that'll score you points come into play, because they're going to want specific colors between the head and tail. Well, including the head and tail, I should say. That's a big thing to not forget, is that the head and the tail are included. So if you have a pattern on one of these cards that says you want yellow, blue, well, if the head's yellow, that counts. So yellow head, yellow, blue body parts, boom, you just scored that prophecy card. So there's a whole big old deck of these. Let's start sleeving them. I should have titled this Unpunching and Potentially Sleeving Cards, because that's what we're doing now. And yeah, these are just standard playing card size cards, so the standard sleeves fit perfectly. And yeah, this is probably the most fun part of the entire stream right here, is just me about to sleeve how many cards? 54 cards! See, I knew there was a reason I grabbed 2 packs. I eyeballed it and I said, you know what? I bet I'm going to need more than 1 pack of sleeves to sleeve these cards. And I was absolutely correct. So after I sleeve these, I'm going to want to sleeve those. Let's see. Oh my gosh! The tarot card sleeves are going to be a little bit long, but not bad. I can live with that. I can live with that length of sleeves, for sure. And then that's it. There wasn't a whole lot to punch here either. There was 1 sheet to punch, but everything else is baggied already. I don't see a reason to baggy anything else. So what do we do here? Put these in here. Put these in here. Put these in here. I actually don't think I'm going to leave them like this, because they are going to go flying everywhere. Because there's not enough in this box to keep them from flying everywhere. And I think I'm going to do like what we did with Mandala Stones, which is put all of these pieces in those bags. And then we can use one of these bags to store our cardboard components. Okay. I should be looking at these cards as I'm sleeving them. I was looking elsewhere. But that's kind of the benefit. When you're sleeving these cards, it gives you an opportunity to look at every single one. So we have a double red, double blue, double black, double yellow, double green, double red. We have a yellow, black, red, green, blue in that order. The other thing is, unlike some games like Reef, or I don't know, what's another pattern match it on the card type game, where you can mirror it, like Tiny Towns. But in this, it is specific. On these cards, there is a head and a tail, and the colors have to go in that order. So it is a little bit more strict. But I mean, how cool are these cards? Of course, the only thing that you care about are the points in this corner and the pattern across the bottom. And the rest of that art is just there for fun. And I'll tell you what, it is fun. It looks really cool, and that's kind of what drew me to it. If this was any other kind of thing, like, I don't know, what else would you be building? I can't think of another theme. I mean, I could think of other themes, but none that are boring. Like, every theme that I'm thinking up to re-theme this game to try to make it seem less appealing, just sounds as appealing. Okay, here's the test. Do these fit in here? No. I'm going to give that a no. Gosh darn it. Does that mean no? Because you know what I'll do? I'll just put them in here. Look at that. But I think I'm going to still want to baggy them. So, well, I don't know. Maybe not. We'll see. We'll see when it comes down to it if we end up bagging those or not. Because I don't want to get rid of the insert, but I absolutely will. I have moved beyond the attachment to inserts because having the card sleeve is my main. We're going to need more of these later for Cascadia, so we can't put those too far away. But here now are these tarot size sleeves for this deck. What's the best way to open these? There we go. There's not a whole lot of these, so we should get by with these. But here's what I'm really curious about is how well are these going to fit? Some of these are these upside down or what? Maybe these. Hal, thank you. See, I knew someone would be on my side. Actually, these fit, the width-wise, they fit perfectly. Look at that. They are the perfect width, but look at all that excess on top. Now, what I may do, and I've done this before, is take them to my paper cutter and just slice off that excess. I may end up doing that because if it's, you know, it's right at that amount that looks a little too much up there. And now I wouldn't do it if there were like 100 of these. Well, you know, even then I still might do it. But since there's only, how many? 15? Yeah, I think I can do that. I think I can trim 15 of these cards just to make it, you know, a little nicer. But I'm glad that they fit perfectly width-wise. If these were too wide and couldn't even fit in these sleeves at all, I would be a little upset because I gotta sleeve them. Especially these, since you are going to be shuffling these, so you do have to sleeve them, in my opinion. All right, that's all of them sleeved, and I think we're just going to trim off that excess across the top. Later, not in this video, of course. All right, so what else do we have? I think that's it. I'm just going to transfer these plastic components into their forever bags, and then we'll be done. So here are the heads. So we got to separate the heads and the tails of each color. So there's 3 heads, 3 tails. 3 heads, 3 tails. 3 heads, 3 tails. And there we go. All right, so this is the bag for the heads. So we'll put all those in here. Because there's really no reason, I don't think, to not just store them in this bag. So there we go. There's the heads. Here are the tails. And now, oh, fudge buckets. There was another color of heads and tails I forgot about. I forgot about black. All right, so here's the black tails. And here are the black heads. Black heads, good. All right. So that is that. Now I am going to take, oh, this came undone. There was a knot on the end of this. I am going to take these little cardboard sacrifice tokens out of here. I'm not going to leave them in here because they're just going to get tossed around. And I am going to just stick them in one of these bags, though. There we go. How perfect did that end up being? All right, so we have those tokens. We have these cards, but I'm going to use one of these bags we had earlier to put these cards in so that they're not flying everywhere also. Though, is that going to be too much for this? Actually, no, that won't be too bad. The cards can still fit in there in the bag. Perfect. All right, so last up, we have the body components of the 5 different colors. Oh yeah, I'm also going to want to put the start token, start player token, in that little baggie with our sacrifice tokens as well. And we got to mix those up. And then put this guy in here as well. All right, perfect. All right, so we have all the body components. We have all the tails. We have all the heads. And now we have these, which I'm also going to stick in this bag, and I'll trim these later. Oh, wait. I, for some reason, completely forgot about those. These red body components. So we got to put those in here also. Awesome. And then we can put these player boards back in here. How do they go? Like this? No, I guess the other way. Like this? Yeah, that works. Make sure the box is oriented properly. Put those cards in here. Here are the body tokens. Here are the head and tail tokens. And then lastly, here is this board and the rules. And look at that. We have it boxed back up. Perfection! That is Coatl, unpunched, sleeved, and put back in the box. All right, folks, I think my battery's getting low because I decided to do this. And of course, anytime I decide to do something, I don't check my battery. But anyway, we've been on here for almost 50 minutes, and we have one game left, Cascadia. This is, as I've said before, this has been described as Calico, the relaxing version. Though from the playthroughs I've watched of it, it still looks a little bit stressful. So let's dive right on in. All right, so what do we have in Calico? We have the rules. We have, oh my gosh, holy smokes, we have 5 punch boards. Good grief, I should have probably done this one first because we got a lot of punching to do. Thankfully, that's really all there is to do because we do have these nice wooden pieces that the animals are all printed on. So that's fantastic. I love that that's the situation. Did this, oh, I was going to say, and it comes with this bag, this Cascadia bag. So the first thing to do is dump all of these into this bag. Boom. Done. We're already done with that. It comes with a couple of plastic baggies too, which is nice. We have score sheets and we have these. Now, are these going to fit into our tarot sleeves? We have all these. So essentially in this game, you're going to have a choice of 4 pairings. You're going to have a landscape tile and one of those animal tokens. And there's going to be 4 pairs of them. And you have to take the pair, both the landscape and the token it's with. And then you put the token on one of your existing or the one you just placed landscape token that has that animal on it. And as you can see, the landscapes are going to match landscapes, and you'll get points for majority of connected specific landscapes, as well as a different pattern for bears, for elk, for foxes, for hawks, and for salmon. And I love that it's like different pictures of the same different animals, just depending on the different patterns that it wants you to do with them. That's cool. All right, but anyway, let's see if our tarot sleeves will fit. Come on, come on, come on. Oh, there is nothing like when you sleeve a card and it fits perfectly. Look at that bare minimum 1 millimeter gap at the top of that card. Oh, that is fantastic beyond belief. All right, let's get these guys sleeved. No need to trim those whatsoever. And so, what are there? 3 of each or something? Here's the second bear. Here is the third bear. No, there's 4. Potentially 4 of each. Now, these cards are fairly thin, so you got to kind of be careful, because especially when you're pushing them down into a sleeve, that you don't accidentally bend the card. Oh, I've done that before, and I wanted to punch a wall. And it's better, so when you're pushing it down with one finger, that's where it gets dangerous, because you could come up to a part where it gets stuck and your finger bends the card. So it's best to do it with 2 fingers and not, just rush through it, because that would suck. All right, we have, look at that, is that just a mirrored image? Yeah, it looks like it's a mirrored image. A lot of, both fox cards are just mirror images. It looked like the bears were all different images. No, they were mirrored too. 2 different images, but they're mirrored. I see. It would be cool if all 4 pictures were different, but that's okay. I mean, that's not even worthy of mentioning as a complaint. I have a friend who is in an Airbnb in Colorado right now, and a little fox came up on the deck. Oh my gosh, it was the cutest thing of all time. He sent me pictures. I was like, holy cow, that is the most adorable little fox. All right, we got him sleeved. And this last card is some kind of intermediate variant versus a family variant. I have to take a look at that later. Now the question is, do I have a baggie big enough for these cards? Look at this. So this is an insert I don't mind getting rid of, where it's just this cardboardy thing and it's kind of falling apart anyway, bent to one side. I actually want to take this one out. I don't even want that one. All right, I got to get going. I got the warning lights come on. I got 5% left. Do you think we can, that's 1% per punch board. No, this baggie has to be for these cards. Or, this baggie will fit these cards. Will it fit them when they're sleeved? Yes. Yes, it will. Just barely. All right. So we have rules. We have tokens. We have score sheets. We have the sleeved cards. All that's left is to punch out these. I think we can do it. Where's my bag for these? Can you believe it? What time is it? Oh my gosh, we're going to get this done probably within an hour. All right, so here we go. These little pine cones on the outside are, I think they're just called nature tokens. They let you customize the pair that you grab. So normally you're forced to take the animal token that's paired with the landscape token. But if you spend one of those nature tokens, you get to pick which pair. Of course, you have to pick from the ones that are out there. So there's one down. We got a bunch of landscapes, and I think this is one of the starting tiles. All right, we are on punch out sheet 2 of 5. I don't know what the arrows mean. Do the arrows just mean that they are landscape or look, 2. We're done with 2. It looks like the arrows are all on tiles that will give you a nature token. So that must just be what it is. I don't know, maybe there's additional rules for those as well. But it looks like every tile that has a nature token symbol on it has a white arrow. 3, done! So that's probably the case. Because I don't see white arrows on any tokens that don't have the nature token symbol. Oh my gosh, this artwork on these tiles and I guess probably everything in the game is Beth Sobel. Where do you recognize that name from? I believe that's Wingspan. Was Beth Sobel the one who did all the Wingspan cards? Does anyone know? I may have to look in a second, because I'm pretty sure that was Beth Sobel. Her nature artwork is fantastic. Boom! We got them all unpunched! Now can we get them in these bags? First, I'm going to stick the nature tokens in this little tiny bag. Come here, come here, come here. And as always, before you throw all your garbage away and before you recycle your cardboard punch-out sprues, make sure you give them all the once over to make sure there's no little tiny tokens in there. So here are the nature tokens baggied. I'm going to stick the 4 starting areas. Wait, are there 4 or 5? How many does this game play? 1 to 4. So why are there 5 of these? I have no idea. Maybe just for variety. All right, here we go. We're still up. We're still recording. It looks like we are going to get through the entire thing. All right, perfect. So now we have all the tokens baggied up. And that, folks, is it. Cascadia has now been unpunched, sleeved. Look at this. All 3 of these, as promised, have been unpunched, sleeved, baggied, the whole 9 yards. And now I want to check on the Wingspan. Who did the artwork on Wingspan? Yes, it was Beth Sobel. I knew it. I knew I recognized that name. I knew it. All right, that's it. We got it. I'm just going to go trim the sleeves on the Coatl cards. And that'll be it. All right, folks. Thank you all so much for watching. I do truly appreciate it. We'll probably have a lot more games to unpunch and all that stuff in the future. And Hal, you are so welcome. Thank you, my friend. All right, take care, everybody. And until next time.